What's up, everybody? All right. Let me get everything set up. Haven't done this in a hot minute. Been super busy with work. So I finally have. All right. So that's showing that it is live now. I might have to move some stuff over when we get into the game. I haven't fully figured out where everything is at. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to make sure that this pulls up. Just want to make sure that I have the ability to see chat. There we go. And not sure why that's not pulling up now, but whatever. Okay, start a new game. I have played on the PlayStation. I have platinumed the game. So I am basically just doing this to goof off. This is on PC, so tomato. So I kind of already have an idea of what I'm going to be doing, build wise, as well as what I am going to be doing for. Question is how do I want to start? Do I want to start? Because I'm going to be running around. The very beginning of this, I'm just going to be running around collecting things, getting an ideal start for my playthrough. I'm going to try not to do any rune farming, at least not any massive rune farming. I'll point out a couple points when I get to them in the game that make really good rune farm areas. But let's see, 14, 13. I know I'm going to need strength, but I can't remember how much dex I need. This will give me a more all-round. Or do I? Yeah, we'll just go with this. That way I don't accidentally use this character for anything else. Keepsake. There's a lot that people will tell you to go with. A lot of people will tell you start off with the golden seed so you get more flasks right at the beginning, but you'll notice that when I'm doing my run, it's very simple. This we can buy pretty early on, so that's pointless. Cracked pots, we can get a ton of these, so that's pretty pointless. The bewitching branch, again, we can farm those. Boiled prawn we can buy. We can collect this pretty early on. This is useless. This gives us a few runes right at the beginning, but runes aren't really all that necessary. I personally like starting with the stone sword key. Yes, we can buy these. Yes, we can get quite a few of these pretty early on, but they do make it very simple pretty early on. Since I'm going with that, I go with that name. The only thing I add is under eye patch. I like to just add this. It gives kind of like a little flair of like I'm a blind combatant, and I gotta do my blue. Don't really care about the tattoos, so I'm gonna take those off. Other than that, we're going to be wearing a helm for the most part, but there are some helms where we'll still get to see our bandanas. So that's all I like there. But not a whole lot really to do right at the beginning. I mean, if you're into character customization, knock yourselves out. Go hog wild and do that. But other than that, it's not really necessary, in my opinion, to waste time doing it. I'm also not going to be watching the videos. If you guys want, let me know. I can always start doing that, but it's too quiet for me. Let me turn this up. I'm not sure how long I'll be streaming. That just depends, honestly. you haven't played this game, for the most part, you can kind of sort of follow along with what I'm going to do here at the beginning, because it does kind of suck you up if you don't want to build your character the way I'm going to be building it, which is perfectly fine. There's not a best build, in my opinion. It really just boils down to your play style. Hey, dude, you can kill that guy. I've never been successful at doing it. I'm not a pro player, but just run off and die so I can get to the next part. Yeah, by no means am I a speedrunner, pro player, what have you. For the most part, though, this is going to be a strength run. I will put some points in other things. Because of the build that I'm going to be using, I will go out of my way to grab a couple pieces that I will need for it while we're doing our little pre-run. This cave is not necessary if you already know the mechanics of the game, but it does give you some nice little starting rooms. So that's the only reason why I run this. Reason why I took the halberd off at the beginning is so that I could medium roll. If you leave the halberd on, you fat roll because your weight capacity is too heavy. I'm not overly worried. I'm just trying to collect a little bit of runes right here at the beginning. When I get to the first merchant, I need to buy the crafting bag so that I can make certain things. It's the only thing that I will stop at merchants to buy are going to be the cookbooks or whatever they're called, so that I can learn how to craft different boluses and different things like that pretty early on. I love watching videos where people pretend that he's the most difficult boss in the whole game. So they'll go and do every other boss in the game first, and then come back super overpowered to fight that guy. It's pretty funny. There's the strength emote, in case you want emotes for whatever reason. See, like, even underneath this visor, you can still see our little bandana. Though the way this visor is, the helmet that we're wearing, wouldn't be able to see anything, like, because if you actually look where our eyes are, that is solid steel. Like, I don't see any slits for eyes. So our guy wouldn't even be able to see anyway with this particular helmet in the way that it is. It's grace, just for giggles. Anytime you talk to an NPC, if you haven't played this game or any Souls games before, make sure you just keep talking to them until they repeat their crap.
Are you familiar? You may also that. It will lead, even if it. Grace to castle, the home. It's to castle if you. It's to castle if you.
All right, there we go. Now he's starting to repeat himself. There's a really big dude right here. The tree sentinel right there. Oop, oop. Don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to show you, buddy. He, at this point in the game, will probably yeet you across the field. unless you're really good and you know the timing, he hits really, really hard. The amount of health we have right now would not even be close to enough to go toe-to-toe with that guy. Purchase. So this is what I was talking about. We need the crafting bag. There's some other useful items in here. I'll come back later to get the missionary cookbook, the nomadic warriors cookbooks. The torch is good, though I'm going to be getting a lantern pretty quickly, so I don't need that. And the telescope's pretty good if you're trying to look at something far away, you know, to plan a route or see if there's an enemy or something that you're searching for. Just makes it easier. Grab this grace so I can teleport back to it later. We are just booking it. We're still heading northeast. We are heading to get our mount and the ability to start leveling up. Now it's not necessary to kill these guys while heading over here to get Torrent. I just want the extra runes, and every once in a while they will, there we go, drop different gear. Gear for the most part isn't really all that important. There are items in the game that you can get that can increase what's called poise. It's your ability to take hits without being staggered. And come on. Good time to mess with you. So poise is pretty important. But other than that, armor really doesn't mean much. There are armor pieces that will give you bonuses to like your intelligence, your faith, your strength, your dexterity, what have you. If that's something that you need to hit a certain threshold, then I highly recommend doing it. I didn't need to get the Lord Sworn's greatsword right there, but I had to get it anyway. Alright. So now, again, skipping cutscenes. She's going to talk to us. She gives us Torrent,
I can play
which is our mount.
to aid you. You need own to the foot.
Yeah.
Then it's summon me. I bequeath. Use it will summon Torrent. Treat him with respect.
Couple things. Early on, we are not going to be doing anything at night, like at all. But the reason why I'm not going to move this to daytime yet is we need to come back over to the Church of Ella, where we will meet Ronnie for the first time.
This way,
Ronnie the
tarnished.
Witch.
May I have a pleasure? I am the witch. I'd heard and upon look a talk, thou art possessed. Call forth. I was in
Yes,
strike
I
torrents.
have that. So then she gives me the ability to summon the Lone Wolf Ashes, which are going to be very important for this
How
run
long will it be for
until
the
we get to a different summon later on. Because we won't be putting a whole lot of points into mine for this build. We will be putting some, so we may be able to get a beefier summon later. But the primary thing that I'm going to be doing with this build is stop making marks. I'm going to be using a two-handed weapon and a flame art skill that just absolutely crushes. Forgot to do that. Okay. So over here, I put items that I'm going to use a lot, and I have them in specific spots because I just memorized where I put them. So like for Torrent, if I hold down, by the way, I'm on controller, but if I hold down triangle and then the down key, Torrent comes out. Beautiful thing is if you do it right, like you won't even see it switch over, but I'm still hitting those commands in order to get Torrent to come out. So stick to one side or the other. If you try and run in the middle, a giant comes down and absolutely stomp some mud hole in you. If you get stunned, there's a bunch of archers that plug you with arrows, and depending on what class you picked starting off, you can probably get one-shotted. And if you don't get one-shotted, you will get stunned, and then you will just die. Right now, I'm just running around collecting some stuff to be able to level up weapons, armor, that kind of stuff. They are called smithing stones. There are two different types. There's your baseline smithing stones that go from 1 to 25, 25 being the end. And then there are somber smithing stones that go 1 to 10, 10 being the end. Somber weapons scale faster. Rule of thumb, basically, for every one somber stone, that's 3 base levels for a non-somber weapon.
You
want to talk to this girl quite a bit?
It's scary. I want to want nothing.
She gives you the sitting sideways emoji. She gives you the jellyfish ash.
Be glad
And then she
tell
will
them
end
I
up
love
going
them fine
to our
again.
main hub here in a minute.
it was
And when
tell
she
them
goes
I
to the
love
main
fine
hub,
again.
you come back here, and there will be
it was
another
tell them I love fine
golden
again.
seed. And as you saw, we just passed a tree back here. I'll go look at it. That tree back there, we passed it, and it had a golden seed. We picked it up. You rest at a grace, and you can increase how many potions you get. There are 2 items that increases your potion, or affects your potions, rather. The first one is the golden seeds, which give you more, up to a maximum of 14 potions. Either health or mana, or a combination thereof. And then there are sacred, why am I drawing a blank on the name of it? We'll get to it, but there's another item that increases the potency of said potions. So instead of having to drink 5 potions to get any health back, you can drink 1 and almost fully heal yourself. Now, like right now, if I was almost dead and took a potion, I would fully heal. But later on, when our health bar is a lot bigger,
name's Bern. Let me ask,
can
are you
take
here? Does
more
your
than one
despite
if you don't level up.
Yes, takes me back. Any interest? All I know. Now's the time.
And we can't buy anything. There was a build that I tested out with the Stormblade. That actually is pretty powerful. The only complaint I had is the person who put the build together. They were using it on a bleed weapon because supposedly the wind art would increase the bleed effect. I had never gotten a bleed proc solely by using this Ash of War. I got it if the blade connected with the target, but not just from the Stormblade. Now, if I had the frost effect or a fire effect, I did see that get applied, but stuff was dying too fast for me to ever get a bleed proc. So,
Not floating your boat. Well,
not floating your boat, eh? Alright. Come out here. This is, for new players, this is going to be a pretty tricky thing, because you have to dodge these guys. But we want to come out here. There's a couple things you can grab. Beast liver is not really important. What we want, though, is for them to break this statue. And you gotta be careful, because there's a whole bunch of these dudes walking around out here. Stomp, smash. Come on, I need you to keep walking, dude. Oh no, he already did it. Alright, come on. I need you to get away from me. There you go, got that. And then we zigzag, because if this guy yells at us, that would hurt. Now, ideally, later on this build, I will not be using a shield. Early on, I will be, just because it will keep us alive a little longer. Because the weapon I need, we won't get for a good hot minute. I just wanted to kill the dog. He's the more important than the other group. Can't get this. Alright, I picked up that shield because it is actually a pretty decent starting shield. It has better defense than the shield that I have right now. Has a better block rate.
Can you hear me?
Things like that.
Help me.
This is Alexander.
I at these.
Let's see. Oh,
My thanks. Just give me, and I'll pop. Don't dally. Give it your all, I.
we'll meet Alexander a few times. Don't worry. As long as you talk to him first, it won't kill him, and he won't aggro you.
Ah, oh, that's. Well,
Then he gives us that, and then we keep talking to him, because he's going to tell us about the Dawn Festival and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Redmayne. I've heard. I'm to
And we'll meet him again later on, before we have to go to Castle Redmayne. Now bear in mind, everything I'm doing, you don't have to do. If you immediately want to start going off and exploring all by yourself, go for it. That's the whole point of this game. I do this run with all of my characters. I watched other videos shortly after my first time playing and saw somebody else do this run, so I'm literally just mimicking what they do. So I won't take credit for this at all, but it is what I do every character I play now. And here on PC I do have several characters that are quite high level. Some have done the rune farm that I'll show you. There's actually 2 rune farms that I've done in the past. One's a little bit slower. I would only recommend using it if you're trying to get a few runes to either upgrade a weapon, or you just need a few extra runes to level. Because otherwise, it's early on. It's like right now it would be great because a couple of the runs will get us a level or 2. Later on, though, when you're, in the 50s and 60s, you would have to do this one run probably 10 or 15 times in order to get enough runes for one level. It just becomes obsolete at that point. Now, as I was saying, this is going to be a semi-strength build. Key. So we already have one of these. I got it at the beginning, and we picked one up at that shack. So I run down here because this gives us a trinket for stamina. It's actually a pretty good trinket early on. But as I was saying, so for the strength build, primarily my stat is going to be strength. Like, that is what I'm going to focus on. By the way, if you want turtle meat, kill these things. I don't, just because turtle meat's kind of meh. That is a Crimson Scarab. You can kill it, get health potions back if you're missing any. As anyone will tell you, this game is very deceptive about drop heights. You can be instantly murdered if you fall too far, and sometimes a drop that looks like it's safe ends up not being safe. There are items that you can craft that you can throw off while you're on torrent or while you're on foot, and it will, if it shatters, then that means that you will die if you fall. If it doesn't shatter, it just means that you'll live. You might have 1 HP when you're done, but you will live. So these are golden runes. Golden runes you can crack to get a wide variety of different types of, or numbered runes. Like a golden rune 1 gives you like, ooh, make it. There we go. A golden rune 1 will give you 200 runes. A golden rune 2 gives you 400. It just keeps going up from there. So, Sacred Tear. That was the item I was thinking of, because it is right there. Sacred Tear. Those increase the potency of potions. There's our wondrous physic. This is it's a one-time drinkable potion before you have to rest again. But once you craft it, you will, I don't know why I ran around that way. I was going to go do one thing, and I was like, no, I better just stick to my normal run. but the wondrous physic, you can get things where like you boost your health all the way up, plus get health regen, or you can do it with stamina or FP or whatever. And then there's ones that will boost elemental damage types and whatnot. Welcome to Gryle's Dragon Barrel. We by no means need to be in this zone. This is Kaled, one of the it's not the hardest, but it is a very difficult zone. Also looks like it is nighttime right now. That guy has a really good weapon. If you can kill him, hopefully you have friends that can come in and murder that thing for you, because he's pretty tough. But he does have a really good faith weapon if you are going to go with a faith build. See, you'll notice I'm picking these up and I'm not using them. It's because I just want to get through my little sprint here first before I do all that. This bridge is protected by a dragon, so we will not be running down the bridge. And yeah, it's nighttime. Fun! Yay! Nighttime! Because that's what I needed when I get over here. Problem is if I rest right now, because this is the first time we've been in Kaled. Where is it? Where is the stump? Thank you. There will be a night. So this guy is a nighttime boss. I'm hoping to get around him without getting hit, because if he hits me, woohoo, that would have killed us. And hopefully I can get to this grace. He's supposed to despawn before he gets over here, but sometimes he can get all the way to you before he will despawn. Alright, so she'll show up. We don't have to go with her, but I'm going to do it just to show you guys the main hub for the game. If you haven't played it, but if you haven't played it, come on guys, it's been out for a year. Like,
Very well.
what have you been doing for?
hand.
Or actually, it's been out for longer than a year now, I think. A little over a year. So this is round table hold. I'm not going to talk to anybody yet because I don't want to progress anything. We'll be going through this here shortly, but you'll spend a lot of time at the round table hold. And so as you can see, like this is where we came out. We ran up here, ran through the trial cave, came up to the first steps, got that grace, talked to White Mask, ran up here, kept going northeast, got here to get Torrent. Yes, I know there's stuff here that we can do. I'll get to that here shortly. Ran up here, grabbed that, ran down here, got this grace, came down here, grabbed those two stones. We came up over here, then we ran through here, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what exactly I was doing, because sometimes I'm terrible at giving directions. But we jumped down some cliffs, we came over here, took a portal that's right here. That portal brought us all the way up here to the Bestial Sanctum. We ran down to Lenny's Rise, which is where we need to be. So I'm going to show you the farm method here, as well as for anyone wanting to play Mage, we are going to grab the memory stone. These are puzzle towers. You're supposed to complete a puzzle. You're supposed to complete a puzzle. This one is so simple. It is just jump on roof, dismount, slide down. I've seen multiple different ways. Like people will jump on that roof and then use Torrent to just go up. But if you miss jump at any time, you could fall off and die, even with Torrent. So I just try to do it the safe way. We come up here, and then we walk right back outside, up and around, and there will be a chest with the memory stone. memory stone. I don't know what that lag was for. It's clicking buttons and it wasn't doing nothing. Okay. So now we're gonna go back down. And I didn't have this in my initial run-throughs, but in case you're just like, hey, if I get a bunch of golden runes, I can pop them and level up a bunch of times. You can take this back up, and right up here there's another little grave site, sarcophagus site, whatever you want to call this, that has some more runes. Like there was a room 8, room 6. There's not a whole lot here. There's a room 3. I think there's a 1, a 8, and or a 1, a 3, an 8, and a 6. I think there's 4 total there. Not a whole lot, but I mean, if all you're trying to do is gather runes, there you go. All right, so this is the first farming spot. This one actually can give you baseline. I think it's like 1,900 runes, almost 2K runes per deal. This is a ball that will spawn behind you. So you run right there, and then you just run to the side, look at the ball, and you'll notice my runes go up by about 1,900. You can do that infinitely. So what you do is you run back up here, or you can teleport, whichever is convenient for you. Stop here at the Grace, and then you leave the Grace, and then when you go back down the hill, fall will respawn, and you just keep doing that. I find this to be okay for early game. Go, ball goes off the edge, and we gain another 1,900. Now, there is an item. I have never successfully gotten this to work, by the way. There are 2 ways to increase that. One is by having the trinket item called the Golden Scarab. You can use the Golden Scarab to increase your runes. So you'll go from like 19 to like 23, if I remember correctly, per ball. And then you can also use a golden pickled fowl foot, and that's supposed to, the timer for that is supposed to be continuous even if you rest at a Grace, so that it just keeps going. I have never gotten that to work, because every time I've used a golden pickled fowl foot, and I might be using it wrong, I don't know, but every time I've tried to use it and then rest at a Grace, the golden pickled fowl foot goes away. So I have no idea. I probably am doing something wrong. But if you can get it to work, you can use the Golden Scarab and the Golden Pickle Fowl Foot, and you get like 2,500, 2,600 runes per ball, which is nothing to laugh at. I mean, until you start taking out bosses, you won't get that much from anything. Anyway, so well, we traveled back to, hold on real quick while I go through his diet. We traveled back to the Church of America. We were running over here real quick before we run down here to that right there.
What is my fort? Oh, I fret not. Celebrate.
But I just want to get his quest, because I will forget if I don't come talk to him now.
And to think. Yeah.
But he wants us to go clear out.
What are you waiting for? My fort.
Okay. He wants us to clear out a fort for him to progress his quest. One thing I will say that before I started playing Elden Ring, this is my first jaunt into Souls-like games. The only game I have to compare this to that I've ever played before is things like Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, those style of games. That's kind of the background I had prior going into these kinds of games. I'm used to mechanics that are based on, you know, very set, simplistic kind of style of games. Whereas this, you really have to kind of think of, there are some bosses that will have immunities to whatever you're trying to do, so don't mind me just grabbing things. this hill a little bit. I know I'm not making this very easy to follow along. This isn't supposed to be a walkthrough. Just, I hadn't gotten to stream in so long. I want to say a year. It's been pretty crazy with work over this last year. I've been meaning to get back into streaming. I'm going to make it my goal, specifically when Diablo 4 comes out, to stream, whether I'm playing with friends or I'm playing by myself. The reason why I'm coming over here, by the way, is I need to hear that howl so that I can continue this quest for this area. But there's also some things that you can pick up here, which is what I'm doing. But I am going to make it my goal that whether my friends are on or not, if I am home playing Diablo 4, I'm going to stream. If it's a 30-minute stream, if it's an hour stream, if it's, 5-hour stream, whatever the case is, when Diablo 4 launches, my goal is to continuously stream that. I may not have the audience or the people watching like I used to a year ago, a little over a year ago. But at the same time, it's something I want to get back into. Don't wake up, evil bear. That is a rune bear, by the way. They hurt. They are not nice at all. There's something I need to, setting I need to change for the next time I go streaming. I need to turn off work notifications. I'm on PTO. I shouldn't even be getting those. But whatever. It's just work. Shouting out sales. Right over here is another grace. We're going to grab it, and then we're going to run up to this fort. We're not going to do the fort yet. Because again, I'm just trying to get... I'm trying to give my character the best start that I can before I start getting into clearing dungeons and bosses and doing quests and progressing through the game. And again, you guys don't have to follow what I'm doing. I just like to do this so that it makes it a little easier. I mean, this game can be quite rough. When I first tried to play this, because I saw it and everybody was like, oh, this is the easiest Soul game ever. And I was like, I've tried playing Dark Souls once for about 5 minutes. No, it wasn't Dark Souls. It's Bloodborne. A friend of mine tried to get me to play Bloodborne. And I think I made it about, I don't know, 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, something like that. Still in the tutorial area and got my cheeks clapped by the tutorial boss, and I was like, well, this is stupid. So then I tried it again because I thought I died, so I just like restarted. And so I was like, this is dumb. Tried it again, died again, and I was like, okay, this game is not for me. This style of game is not for me. All right, did I miss any? I don't really need any of these, but I just like to make sure that if I'm collecting stuff, I collect everything in that area. I'm not sure how long this stream's going to be today. I'm just trying to get back into the practice of it, to be honest. I don't know. If one of my friends gets on, we've been playing another game called Icarus. It's a crafting survival game. If he gets on and wants to play, I might stream some of that. Just, again, it's the practice of it, not really because I expect to have a huge audience. Speaking of which, I never named this stream, so that might be why I don't have anybody, but it's fine. It's all perfect and dandy. I don't really mind. Practice, my good friends. Practice. What I'm doing is not what I normally do, but whatever. I'm over here. Grab this. I just want to grab those runes. Usually I teleport right after grabbing those runes. There's something that hasn't changed. Me yawning while trying to freaking stream. Alright, so now we're going to teleport back over here because there's some stuff that I want to run and grab. chest. I know there's more items here that I can get. There's the first wet blade over there. There's another item over there for dexterity. It's a flail. I actually haven't used flails. A friend of mine that plays this as well, he wanted to do flails, and we found out very quickly that those are pretty difficult to use accurately because their hitbox, or their range, whatever you want to call it, is really slow. Yeah. Hush. I'm not ever going to do you again. So that is a guy that you can find here, save him, and then he lets you alter clothing, the boss level clothing. I don't really care about that because again, armor is all about look, honestly, or as some people call it. You know, like this is called Elden Ring. So when you worry about your fashion, it's Elden Bling. So we will be stopping that caravan, just not right this second. But normally what I would do is I would grab those runes, teleport back, run and grab what I just grabbed, and then as I run this way, that's when I would get the grace that we already grabbed. But we're going to pass that, and we're just going to keep on running south, because now we're going into Southern Limgrave. You want to make sure that you're on torrent and you are sprinting. If you are doing just his normal little run animation, this crossbow will hit you. And you do not want that crossbow to hit you. Especially if you picked any of the mage type classes. Or the... I forget what they call it, but it starts at level 1. That is the class, by the way. The Wretch, I think is what it's called. That is the class. Ignore this lady here. That's the class that I would recommend you pick if you don't know exactly what kind of build you want to do. You don't know what kind of weapon. You don't know what kind of armor and spells and things like that. I would recommend picking that class. It does start at level 1, but it also starts with all stats at 10. And then it takes very little runes to get it to start leveling up. And if you do the run like what I'm doing, and you grab the items that I'm grabbing, you will be able to kind of figure out what weapon style you want to go. And then from there you'll understand what stats you want. I'm going to go up there and grab a shield here in a second, as well as another memory stone. Normally I would do it later on, but I've kind of added it to my prereq run. Now, memory stones aren't going to be that beneficial to this build, just because, again, I'm doing a strength build, very minimal on magic casting, so I don't need a lot of points into faith or intelligence or any of that kind of stuff. I need enough mind, or the ability to get FP, so that I can continue using the Ash of War that I want to use. But that is pretty much... The reason why I would keep sprinting, as you just heard, there's a big arrow now back there. There's a golem way back there who shoots really big arrows, and they hurt. At least this early in the game they hurt. You really should have added some kind of music when you're... They probably do. I have the music turned off. It's been so long since I've played with music in this game. I don't even remember. Don't let the rats hit you here. They cause madness buildup. Not to mention the fact, rats and dogs, in my opinion, are the most annoying creatures. Like, I would rather fight the bats all day long. Another sacred tear. But yeah, the rats and the dogs, they're the most annoying. The dogs, because they can not only stun lock you, but they can, I mean, they just do a whole bunch of damage. Later on, you'll find ones that do bleed and rot. And just, they're not fun. The rats, same thing. They can cause madness buildup. They stun lock you. One rat, probably not a problem. You get 3 or 4 rats on you, and an easy fight can turn real difficult real fast. Now, I don't have the ability to get it right this second, but I will point out there is a scarab. I'll run over there real quick. If you want to chance it, there is a scarab down here that has a incantation that's actually really good. Right down there, you can see him right there. That scarab drops the Hone Bolt, I believe. Incantation. Or it might be the Lightning Spear incantation. I can't... No, Lightning Spear comes from the guy. So that one's definitely the Hone Bolt. So, Hone Bolt early on is okay. It's not great later on. It is definitely not good in PvP. Because it's very telegraphed. It's very easily dodgeable. But for PvE, for targets that are slow moving or quite large, Hone Bolt can actually still hit. So it's okay. Early on, has a lowish FP cost, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're doing a lightning build, it's not the best. I'd rather wait until you get to the Painter's Shack, I think is what it's called, or Artist Shack, whatever. And there's a guy right outside of it. You kill him, he gives you a book, you go turn the book in, and you get Lightning Spear, which is way better. You can see we've already got, what, 3 sacred tears already? So that takes our flasks from basically level 1 up to like level 3 or 4, however many we have at this point. There are some things here, but I'm not going to do them yet because they require, some of them require a storyline or side mission, whatever you want to call it, to do. One's a Evergold gel. I'll run by it just so you can see it. There are 2 caves here and a Erd Tree Beast Guardian, whatever the stupid things are called. Let's run over here. There's a Wandering Monolith. Those are important if you're trying to get stuff from bosses, because you take a boss that you've beat, you walk in there, duplicated soul, you can either eat the soul or you can get items. So this is an Evergoal. I'd have to activate it by putting a stone key. Sometimes you need those, sometimes you don't, but you come stand here in the middle, you activate it, you fight a thing. If you win, you get stuff. Some are harder than others, some not so much. This is the 4th Church of Marika. Marika? Wow. There's another sacred tear there. Go ahead and dismount. Going to make one change to my run for this particular run, because there is an item that I usually just kind of bypass and go meh. As you can see, there's a staircase over there. Again, not doing this area yet because there are a bunch of side quests here that only really take effect, and there's not much here to pick up. There is a scythe that you can get out here. There's the source seal that you can get out here. Most of it is pointless.
Well, there's been how can I help?
Buy merchant. Alright, purchase. So here's the lantern that I was talking about. If you want a good early game two-hander, low stat strength colossal sword, this Flyhander is amazing. So there you go. It will
Have a
put in some
safe
good work.
journey.
Alright, so that's not what it like going. Alright. So that on. The reason why I like the lantern is if you have a torch, and we didn't buy one, so I really can't show this to you, but if you have a torch, you have to have it in one hand or the other, which means you either lose a weapon. If you're dual wielding, that's terrible. If you're going sword and board, that's terrible. If you're using a two-handed weapon that requires power stance like this, that's terrible when you have to use up one slot for a torch to see light. Whereas with the lantern, I can now have a light source and still have my sword shield out. I can still power stance. I can still wield a two-handed weapon. Whatever the case is, I have that capability. Alright. And that's the whole run of down here that we're going to do. There's some other things that we can go pick up. Like there's a cave here. There's a cave here. There's a cave here. And one there. And then there's some stuff up on this hill, but nothing important. There's actually a tower right here that you can go to that will portal you way up there and give you an item that's pointless. There's a thing there, and then there's another thing there, like I was saying. The one here gives you the winged scythe, which is a faith weapon. Decent for PvP if you can pull it off, because it keeps your targets from being able to heal. But other than that, that's everything. There's another memory stone slot here. There's a tower here that gives you a strength crossbow. There's some stuff here. There's a thing there. There's another shield up here, but it's pointless, so I never grab it. But yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff. We'll come back down. There's this whole castle here, or what they call a legacy dungeon. We can do all this later. Right now, though, like I said, we are just trying to get a good start. We're about to go up here, and we're also going to go a little bit more into Caelid out over in this area here. So that is what we are going to do now. While this is doing a load screen, let me pull this up. I just want to see what it named the stream. I was a dumb and I forgot to change it, so now it just says it's a live stream by me, which is fine. Like, I'm not overly worried about it. This is why I'm doing this, so I can practice. Over there is one of the very first bosses that you can fight, plus the legacy dungeon. Not gonna do it. We're gonna keep running north. You know you're going the right way when you get over and past this hill, and you see a bridge. That's how you know you're going the right direction. Finger ladies, you can talk to them instead of having to go back to the round table hold to turn in remembrances from bosses to get their items if you want, but I usually go back to the round table hold because there's other stuff you can get at the round table hold that those ladies will not get. Not to fall off, Jesus. By the way, if they fall off the ledge, that's fine. You can still get the Ash of War or whatever item they drop. If for whatever reason you don't kill one fast enough and it disappears, you can just leave the game, come back in, and it will respawn right where it was. So don't think, oh man, it disappeared. I'm never gonna get that item. Like, you can still get it. Keep on running. By the way, all these little additional items that I'm picking up, except for the Erd Leaf Flower, those you need if you want to summon friends into your game to assist you. Bear in mind that if you do, that opens up PvP and people can invade you, try to murder you. So just bear in mind, this is designed for cooperative play, but it can be it can be a little bit more challenging if you're trying to play with your friends and then you have some person come in and decide that he wants to murder you and your friends.
Then, believe it or not, for a
Talk to this guy, give him his 10
you're a true
runes. We'll
mining
come back and talk to him
presumably.
later because he's going to give us a thing. If you are wanting to do spellcasting and you don't have any spells, Pebble, pretty quick, cheap, single target, mid-ish range spell. This is Glintstone Arc. This actually shoots out a wave of energy. It's actually pretty useful for clearing mobs. It's a little bit shorter range than the Glintstone Pebble. Does roughly about the same amount of damage per target hit. So if you're fighting more than one target, this is actually pretty good. It only costs a couple more FP per cast anyway. So pretty good. Starlight, absolutely pointless. And we're going to go back out, run back down. We're going to go down the hill. There are 2 graves, by the way, on each side of this little ravine here that spawn skeletons. They can drop their scythes, which are a really good strength scythe. Scythes are a unique item in the game that can still do damage through targets blocking. So if you're fighting a lot of things with shields or whatnot, you can go through and still do damage. It's mitigated. I think it's like 40% less damage, something like that, or only 40% damage. So
You're surprised.
I forget what the map was that they had on it, but you're not doing 100% of your damage. They're still blocking, but because the scythe can reach, I think that's their mentality of why it can still do damage on the other side of a shield. Like I said, we'll get these little cookbooks. Like, for example, this one teaches us Crystal Dart, Spellproof, Dried Liver, and the Shatter Shard Arrow. All of that is pretty much useless, but I like to just have those in case for whatever reason I want to, you know. Also, by the way, you can sell runes here instead of having to go into your inventory to pop them. But as you can see, like, this is where 200, 400, 800, 1200, so that's the only one that really didn't double immediately. But whatever. Then you go from 12 to 16, so you go there another 4, then another 4, then 1,000 total. It's not always doubled, but it does go up quite a bit. I think the top rune that you can get, a Hero's Rune 10, I think is worth like 50,000 runes. So be careful, these guys, they like to jump and give you hugs, and their hugs are not nice hugs. But they really just like giving out love, so if you really want a hug, then let them give you a hug. Just don't blame me when their love turns south. I'd prefer if you didn't there, horse guy. Reset everybody. Thank you. Woo. Now we're going to be taking another portal. I'm going to take a roundabout way to get to the portal. It's right there, in the middle of that room there. But there are 2 items over here that I just like to pick up, because I don't know how many times I've done this run and didn't know these items were here, because the video I watched, I didn't notice them until way, way later. And then take that. We're gonna run up here. We're gonna get this race. Now, if you are a very brave soul, feel free to run straight through the middle of that. I am not a brave soul. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to pick up a useless wooden shield. And then I'm just going to follow the outset of this. Now the reason why I go this way is because there's less enemies. Going this way, there's just that one guy that you have to dodge. If you go the other way, either through town or you go to the left initially, then it gets a lot more tricky. And jump across onto this roof. If you try and run to the end and jump down straight, you will die. So it's just easier to run off here, get onto a roof. If you go through the middle of town, you'll run down and you can see these steps here, but I'll come over here and I'll show you. There's just a lot of dudes with bows, apparently. So, yeah. A lot of guys, and they're all trying to kill you. Another golden seed. And then, so, there's that bridge. So as you can see, I'm just getting on this bridge, and I am following it east by south. So I want to stick a little bit more east than south. And eventually you're going to see a grace, and then one of those monoliths. And the monolith has another map. This place is so large that we had to get a couple maps. We don't even have all the maps from this area yet. We're about to head and grab the last one. That's the other thing too, is I'm trying to get maps so that we're not running blind later. Now I'm gonna run, what is this, north? Northeast. And you will get, over here, you'll see this toppled pillar here. That's a magic grease. Not really that important this this second. You can use those later on. Talk to this dude here till his dialogue's done.
They laid the tail I They lay the tail I. They lay the tail of I.
He'll meet us at Round Table, but then later on he'll go to another place as well that we go to. So if you're careful and you can kill fast enough, you'll get this scarab. Stop running. Okay. For a somber smithing stone too. So the prereq run is almost over. Like, we're almost done with just the prereq stuff that I do every time I make a character. I'm gonna take this portal here. And now we got that. Now we get to see all of Liurnia. So the first map that we got that was down here, right in this area, that map only showed us to like here. Like, it only gave us like this much to see. The second map that we got, which was over here in the town, gave us this whole central area here. And then that last one we gave us everything up here and most of the stuff over here too. If I remember correctly. I might be, the one down here may have given us like all this section here or whatever, but yeah. So you gotta have 3 maps. Like, that's how large this actual area is. And to be honest, there's not much. Like, there's a whole bunch here in the middle. There's a whole bunch right up here, and there's a few things here, few things along here, a few things here. But like 90% of this map is here and here. But yeah. So that's that. We're gonna go grab 2 Graces real quick. We're gonna run down here, grab this one. So we just ran south from where we picked up that map, and then we're gonna turn around and run north. Go through the King's Realm ruins. Now there are dudes that will just randomly materialize here. You may get hit once or twice. But we're gonna talk to, or we're gonna hit the Grace. Everybody leaves us alone. And we're gonna talk to
I
Ichi.
presume you.
He's a big dude.
I am an old
He's the
here,
first
perhaps.
blacksmith that can level you all the way up for a while. EG? Not EG, sorry. EG. He also sells an infinite number of Sombers 1 and 2, and then 3 Somber 3s and 3 Somber 4s. This is the soonest you can get a Somber 4 right now, like this early in the game. So, what I was talking about earlier about the smithing stones, right? So, each one of these is 3 levels of a regular weapon. So, Somber 1 gets you to level 3 of a regular. Somber 2 gets you to 6. 3 gets you to 9. 4 gets you to 12. So in order for me to have a weapon that is better than a Somber 4 weapon, I need to be level 13 in most cases. So like that's just insane. You can get an item that is greater than level 13. And in fact, part of this run, I'm going to show you where to get a Smithing Stone 5 really early. So if you have a weapon that uses Somber Smithing Stones, you can actually get all the way up to basically what a level 15 item would be. And we haven't even killed a single boss yet. So here we go. Run along here. We're headed south along the cliff. Find out rock right. Ooh, I overjumped. Oh, thank goodness. And then we are going to, once you get down, you're going to head east. Just to show you, we're going to head here. And then we're going to head here. Then I'm going to go up and around, and we're going to head here. Once I get those points, that is pretty much the end of that run. And then we're going to go back over to... technically to the first steps. We're going to run over here to this point and get yeeted into Caelid. Grab a couple things in there. And then I'm actually going to come back up here because there's an item that I want for this run here. So we're almost done. Almost done with what I'm trying to do. The other thing is I'm also grabbing weapons for, again, if you're going to play the Wretch because you don't know what you want to play, doing this run, as you can see, I only got tagged maybe twice total so far. But most of this, like, I'm not stopping to fight anything. So you literally just run, collect all this stuff, get the weapons, use the weapons I'm picking up. So you can be like, oh, okay, I like this, I like that, I don't like this, I don't like that. And then, give me my item. There we go. So there's a Somber 3. So now that puts us up to 9 on a regular weapon. Which is kind of going to be a bummer because the weapon I want to use does not use Somber Stones. I could change my build a little bit to use one. There's an item called Bloodhound's Fang. It's a cursed sword. Pretty overpowered. Just at its base level compared to anything else I'm picking up. Problem is I've done a build already with the Bloodhound Fang, and it is definitely probably one of the best quality weapons, meaning strength and dexterity builds. And it becomes a crutch to where when you're trying to play anything else, either on the same character or make a new character after playing with the Bloodhound's Fang for so long, you're just so used to that combat style that you don't do well for a good hot minute with anything else. So if it's your first playthrough, I would highly recommend doing that one, just because the stats are pretty easy to get, especially if you're going to start Retch. It just takes a couple levels to be able to wield it properly. And the reason why I say that is because you can two-hand it, so you can negate the strength requirement of like 18 strength or whatever it is. So you just need like 6 points into dexterity to wield it. I'm still going to get the weapon during this run because it is part of my starting process, but it is not the catch-all. Yes, I know there's that trace there. I'm just running over here to make this line disappear, because when you run through it, it goes away. Grace. Now, when you get any kind of scroll or incantation book, you're going to want to turn that into this dude up here that we're running to. And the reason why I say that is because you can turn it into several different people throughout the game, but most NPCs will at some point try to kill you, and you will have to kill them. And if you gave them the book, I think those are still going to be in their ball bearing that you get from them, but I never wanted to run that risk, so I've always given my scrolls to this guy, who will be here forever. Now there is a ball bearing hunter that does show up here at night, so you do have to be a little careful, but yeah, tomato. We're going to run through this camp. Again, not killing anything. Flame Cleanse Me is one of the best incantations later on when, well, pretty much period, because it can cleanse you of pretty much every element. Poison, rot. I've never tried it if I've been frozen, though. Might have to try that. I know it can get rid of poison and rot, and those are the two biggest. Like, rot is one of the most annoying things because of how hard it ticks, how fast it ticks, and how much health it takes every single time. If you're rotted, you will die quickly. And I've got characters that have like 1900 health, and I'm still dead in seconds. We're gonna run over here, grab this chest, then we're gonna talk to him. This chest right here gives you the golden sewing needle and the tailoring tools. So when you do have boss gear for 500 runes, you can change how it looks slightly on the chest piece. So if it has a cape, you can take the cape off. If it has a version of it that has a cape, you can keep the cape on. That's basically it.
Oh, you are free. I would, sir, if you find it. Unless, in which case...
So, right now he just has study sorcery and study incantations because I haven't picked up anything to give him. But if you pick up any kind of scroll or any kind of incantation book, you can turn it into this guy, and then he will have new sorceries and new incantations. But like for right now, he has Magic Glint Blade. For 12 FP, honestly, early game, this is not worth it. Like at all. The Carrying Greatsword, 12 FP. This can do a ton of damage. It does require 24 int, but if you build properly and you have the right stuff on, this thing will do devastating damage. I'll go over the incantations that he starts off with. He only starts off with Blessings Boon, but this basically just gives you a heal over time. Good if you're playing with friends. It heals too slowly, in my opinion, for pretty much everything. If it had a higher tick value or what have you, then I could see it easily being useful to use in places where there's rot and poison, but they just don't. Okay, so that completed the run in the Liurnia of the Lakes, or Lakes of Liurnia, however people talk about it, because I've heard both. So now, real quick, I'm actually going to go get a different item, and then I'm going to go do the top part of this Caelid run real quick, and then we're going to take a portal and do the center part of the Caelid run to pick up a twin blade and a staff. So from this grace, we're going to go get the greatsword. Now this thing requires, and I'm not going to fight this guy, the Merit. You just want me to fight you. We will fight him later, but I'm not going to fight him right now. We're headed up here to another church. You do not want to try to go through the entrance of this church. You will get invaded by an NPC, and at our current strength and everything, this thing will have way too much health and way too much damage. Like, it could probably one hit kill us. But there's that. Grab 2 cookbooks, the missionary and the nomadic. Grab this waypoint. We'll come back and kill her eventually. Just not right now. If you go out the front door, you will trigger the invasion. So what you do is you come over here to the side, and you just stay completely away from the front of that. The way you can tell you're being invaded is if you are on torrent and it kicks you off all of a sudden for no reason, then you are being invaded. Grab this. Now, I don't care about 1300 runes. If you have runes that you care about and you're wanting to come up here to grab this, I would suggest staying at the Grace, level up, do all that fun stuff. I personally don't care because I can easily get all that back with popping one rune if I need to. But I'm not overly caring about it. There's 2 ways to do this, and I'm going to show you the way I do it because it makes it a tad easier. You can run behind him. Oop, I miss. If you do it right, you can run behind them, and that will piss off the one, and the other one will sit there and keep chewing on his thing. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally run into that army there. But what you do is you get them to go away from the caravan so that you have plenty of time. Come run back over here. He's on that side. There you go. If you do it right, then you won't die. But if you don't, they will absolutely one-tap you, regardless of what build you are, if you have not put any points into health. But that was the weapon I wanted to get, was the greatsword. That's the weapon I want to get for now. It is not the weapon I want going forward, but it is a weapon that I want. So, now that we have it, though, we're going to go to the 4 steps. And we're going to go get the last, what is it, 2 items? Yeah. Two major items here. It is nighttime. Again, I wouldn't recommend doing this at night, just because there's more crap out at night, but this first part, there's really not a whole lot that's going to get in your way. Now Now it is funny that you get to hear all the screaming though from the people that are up on those crucifixes, essentially. That's what those are. Use torque to jump up in here, and this will give you the twin blade. So if you are going to play a Dex player, and you can get 2 of these early on, like if you have a friend that doesn't want one, and they give this to you, these things, if you do jump attacks with the twin blades, as you see, it requires 18 dexterity for that, which is astronomical. I do have to put a couple points, you'll see on here, I do have to put some points into strength, because it says 31 strength. The thing is when you two-hand a weapon, when you do this, you actually get a 10 strength buff, basically. So like my strength right now is 14. So I'm at 24 if I two-hand. You can see I still can't wear this because it requires 31. This requires 16. Now, again, I only have 14 strength, but I'm two-handing. So if I go back to one-handing it, and I go back in here and I try and wield this, it's going to tell me, hey man, you don't have enough strength for that. So bear in mind that I don't have to put 31 points of strength into the greatsword in order for it to start doing some massive damage. But that being said, I won't get the full potential of this weapon until I start putting, I get to 31 strength or above, right? Dexterity does not get this benefit, so as you can see, I'm two-handing, and I'm not getting a plus 10 to my dexterity, because if that was the case, I would have more than 18 dexterity. So dex doesn't apply that way, only strength does. But yeah. Oh, we forgot to go get the turtle shield. We'll go back and get it later. Alright. So now that we got that, I'm actually going to come over here. So like I said, dogs are the most annoying. There it is. Enemies in this game. So until you can get their combat down, I would highly recommend having a shield or a long range ability so that you can just dunk on these fools. I'm also going to show you what I mean by rats being a giant turd here in a second too. It's like, here's one, right? Absolutely bodied that guy. Oh. Yeah, not interested. Not interested. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. There's a whole bunch of rats in here. Okay. I fight one, not difficult. But you start getting surrounded, like these things can body you quickly. And since we only have 3 freaking health potions right now, because I'm not using my golden seeds or any of that stuff, it gets difficult quickly. Alright, so this is a trap chest. It will always be a trapped chest unless you're playing like Elden Ring Reforged, which is a modded version of the game. Yeah. That will always be a trap chest. It will always teleport you to where we're headed. And we are not going to try and fight anything here. I am going to pick up this chest. I'm just going to piss off a guy. That's fine. He's right above me. As you can see, there's all these people around me. There's a lot of really good high-end mats in this cave. Do not try to do this cave yet unless you are an absolute pro, because this place will kill you quickly. Follow that down and around. And dodge roll. way through and didn't even take a single point of damage. That's like the second time any of my runs have gone that smoothly. I just made a mage recently, and I was running through here, and I think I died 4 times just trying to get to the Grace. You will also get to see the invisible balls. These are going to be throughout the game. I didn't mean to piss off those guys, but oh well. So these things are invisible. You cannot, I repeat, cannot chase them either on foot or with torrent. You can try, but the problem happens to be that if you do, it moves faster than you, and you will always miss. Not fun. That one gives you poison armament. There's a couple later on that will give you different abilities. This is rot, by the way. You want to be on torrent for this, so that you do not just basically insta-die. If you're on torrent and you get hit by one of those little geysers, though, you will still die. So, take that for what it is. So we got the twin blade. We're gonna go get the staff. This is a really good staff for spellcasters, especially if you're going to use the gravity magics that are in the game. There's 2 ways to get this. If you want to kill the flowers that are in that room, knock yourself out, because then all you gotta do is go stand next to the window and you can get it. Or you can just do that right there. But that's the meteorite staff. It is a non-upgradable S-tier staff. Basically meaning that it is a level 1 staff, starts off at an S tier, has really good scaling for quite a while. There's not another staff in the game that will outpace it early on anyway. Until there's one staff that I found that I had to level up to like 13 before the scaling at 60 intelligence was better. So that's just, like, even though it gets a boost to gravity magics, it still will do more damage with that one staff for any spell you throw for a good long while. You could probably do the entire first playthrough, like just new game, and then complete it, and then need to worry about getting a better staff after that. Alright, grab that grace. I only ever grab that grace just in case, like, I've taken damage or whatever. I don't feel like chasing this thing down. So we've got 4 kukris. I'm going to go ahead and use those. If you have a ranged weapon or spell, use that instead. But that gives you the Ash of War, Poison Mist. In my opinion, I have not been able to get poison to do anything. I have made a Dragon Priest on the PlayStation that uses Rot and Frost and Fire and all that fun stuff from the Dragon spells. Does a ton of damage. I have done melee builds. I have done mages and all sorts of stuff. I have never found anything that will make poison do mass damage. This one teaches us Rot Arrows, which is actually really good. And he has a cracked pot, which is what I want to buy. So sell.
You will.
Again, none of what I'm doing is necessary. I just like have. Ooh, no. We're gonna go hit the Grace and make this daytime because I refuse to be out here for nighttime. Because there is a Deathbird over there. That was a Night Rider back there, and I need to go where the Night Rider was. I said we were going to change the time, and I still just went down and clicked it. Doofus. Alright, hold on one second. here. Past time till morning. Oh, it was almost morning anyway. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and do the flasks. So add a charge, yes. So I added 2 flasks, 3 flasks, and then we go to +1, +2, +3, +4. So we got all the way to +5. And now we have a total of 7 potions. I'm going to do 5 and 2 because eventually I will be using Ashes of War. Okay. We're going to go grab one more thing, and then I forgot to go get the +5 for you guys. So I'm going to grab the map for this area, and then we're going to go grab another seed. Careful, there are birds, so if you stick pretty much dead center of the road, the birds will leave you alone. I pissed off a bird. Now the Somber 5 that we're going to go grab is actually right up here. So we're just going to go back to Inner Aeonia. And then be careful going up into this crevice. There are these little rock, worm, eyeball things. I don't even know what these things are called. I don't even know if they have names, but if they do, oh well. But there are ones that will explode when you get close to them. So you just keep moving and grooving. You'll get all the way up here, ignore the ball, grab your Somber 5, turn around and get out. And there you go. That gets us our Somber 5. So if you have a weapon that uses Somber Stones, and you want to have a +5 weapon this early on, you go buy the level 4, you grab that level 5, and you are good to rock and roll for quite a while. So, there's that. The last thing we're going to do in this stream is I'm going to do the quest for this right here, just to get you guys the Bloodhound Spank if you guys want it, which is the first weapon you guys can use for that particular, the Somber Stones. Sorry. People texting me. I'm on PTO. Leave me alone. Right. We are going to get... Oh, I teleported to the wrong spot. We need to go to Church of Ella. So now that we heard the howling when we were over there grabbing the Axe Talisman or whatever it was, we're going to come back over here to this guy.
Wait, well, you're...
And we're going to say, Howling in the Mistwood. And he's going to give us the snap finger emoji.
Goodbye for now.
Or emote, not emoji. And then we are going to run back up over here. So we're going to take Fort Height West Grace that we picked up. And we're going to put Finger Snap. there. Tough. I'm really getting tired of all the rain. I can't tell you how many runs I've done and not have rain during the primary run. Like, I'm looking at what the stream sees, and this makes the game look dingy. I don't know. Anyway, so we're gonna run back up over here. When you get close, you should start hearing the howling again. And we're gonna come out and around this way, and then we're gonna use the finger snap emote. And then he drops down. We talk to
I
Light.
sent you. The name's Blood. He fled somewhere. Come tell me if I can offer you. Darrowell and in need of a.
Alright. Now, once you get him to start repeating his stuff, we're going to go back to Agil Lake South. And we're going to run up to one of the Evergoals. So now you'll get to see how one of those work. Now, just because eventually I am going to be doing a two-handed weapon. And this does a pretty sizable amount of damage. We're going to go ahead and use this weapon for now until we get enough points into strength to wield the weapon I want. And like I said, once we get done with this, I'm going to end the stream for today. I mean, it's an hour and a half stream. Not the longest or shortest I've ever done. But, again, this was just for practice. It's just me trying to get back into the groove of things. I might stream some more later today. It just depends on if my friends are on and what they're wanting to do. And if they're cool with streaming it. So once you come into the Evergoal, you'll notice that there's this big force field up.
Darrowell.
Because we're technically
Nothing
inside
in a
it.
cell is no true justice. No.
And
This is where it
this
ends
is one
for
of the
you.
very few that will have somebody that we can summon inside. You click on the golden runes, wait for him to summon, and then this guy, when you come over to this rift, will pop up. Let Blythe start taking some of the aggro here. Because we really don't have help. There you go. Fight's over. We get Bloodhound Fang. Really good curved sword. I've got nothing bad to say about this curved sword. It will put in a lot of work for new game plus. You can still get away with it, especially if you're going to dual wield these things in new game plus. But once you're done with that, come over here, talk to
Have
Blythe.
work for it. Don't say I'm not.
He gives you another somber smithing stone too. We don't really need it. But as you can see in our inventory, we have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 5. We just need to go by that 4, and we can literally make Bloodhound's Fang up to a +5, which gives it a ton of damage. Right now, we can easily get any of the other weapons up to a +3, maybe a +4, possibly 5, but not as close as we can to a +5 somber, which is, again, the equivalency of having a +15 normal weapon. Like, that's just insane for early game. But, you know, we've gotten some spells, we've gotten some Ashes of War, we've gotten some incantations. We have a pretty good setup of weapons. We picked up the Lordsworn Greatsword. We've got the Greatsword, which is a colossal weapon. We've got the curved Greatsword, Bloodhound's Fang, Twin Blade. We do have the Morningstar, which is one of the first bleed weapons we can get aside from the curved Greatsword. So if you're wanting to do like a Paladin sword and board kind of build or a Faith kind of build, the Morningstar is amazing for that. We started with the Halberd and we started with the Longsword. But still, I mean, the Halberd is still a really decent weapon. I mean, especially since, like, this is 136 plus 25. If we didn't have that and we wanted to use two-handed weapons, we've got the Halberd, which is 125. Still does a strength dex of D on both. Same here. this just is going to outperform it, unfortunately, especially with 110 critical. This one's only at 100. But, yeah. So, and there's still more weapons that we can pick up, too. Like, I haven't even gotten all of the weapons. We can get a dagger by doing the guy's quest that we picked up here. Kenneth Height, by doing Fort Height West. This guy right here, we clear that out. We go talk to him. He gives us the Erdtree dagger. There's the Uchi katana. If you're wanting a bleed katana, right here. There's a curved sword, a standard curved sword, not a great curved sword. Down here, there is, I mean, just all sorts of stuff. There's a dagger that we're gonna get next stream down here. That's a bleed dagger for arcane. There's the great axe in the caravan that's around here. There's tons and tons and tons of weapons. There's more weapons that we can get in here. Plus, there's some incantation spells that we can get in here. There's so much just in Limgrave. Just this portion here that you see. There is so much you can get. So if there's a weapon that you want, there's a high probability that there's a type of that weapon that you can get while just here in Limgrave, well before you ever get into Liurnia or Altus Plateau, which is up here, the Giants, which are way up here. Like, we can't even see that because we don't have that unlocked yet. There's a bunch of stuff you can do here in Caelid that we haven't even touched yet, which we'll do in the next stream as well. Like, there's a big dragon we'll go kill for a bunch of runes, which is a one-time thing unless you know how to glitch it. But yeah, the next stream, just so you guys know, we're actually going to, now that we've done this big run, I'm going to start clearing stuff out. I'm going to probably grind, just FYI, when I'm not on camera, to get enough points into strength to where I can wield the sword that I want, the great sword. Because this thing will put in a lot of work. It uses, like, I can change the Ash of War to whatever I want, basically. There are a lot of Ash of Wars that I would like to use. We don't even have the ones that I want. But, like, this can go on it. This can go on it. That can go on it. That can go on. Like, there's a lot of Ashes of War that I can put on that. But the one I want is going to really be an interesting setup. But that, guys, is so far Elden Ring. Like I said, I have platinumed this on the PlayStation. So I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. I kind of know what the fights are going to be like. I've completed the game several times with different characters, different builds, all that fun stuff. So I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm just trying to get stuff back out there. So this was literally just me wanting to get used to streaming again. Of putting in the effort to get my face out there some more. But yeah, so hopefully you guys like the stream. If there's a build that you want to see me talk about or go through, let me know. I can try to pull those characters, or at least give you my input for that type of build. But anywho, I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for stopping by. Laters.